I was once an alpha who was rejected and banished by my own pack, and even betrayed by the one I loved. Chapter 32. I blinked as I saw the vampire fidget before me. She wore brown leather pants and had it paired with a neon green shirt. With that black eyeliner that brought the fierceness in brown eyes out, and that nude pink lipstick, anyone could tell that this female was a confident girl. She had to be. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. She was the sister of the Theta of the Coven under Omicron Riley, yet she was wringing her fingers and was slipping her feet in out of her wedges. Next to her, the female who chose my Delta as her mate stood calmly. Aspen had a serenity on her face, and I had no doubt that it had something to do with the fact that she spent her nights with Miguel. They had not mated, for if they had, I would be the first person in my pack to know about it. Still, that never stopped us from betting on them. Very unsurprisingly did bet that Miguel would mark Aspen in the most unlikely scenario, like in the middle of the battle. I said they would mark within a week and Kane said after 2 weeks. Brent went as far as to say that once this war was over, they would split. Aries and Hayes had rolled their eyes when the bets were placed, as if they were any better than us. Nadia, to my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. What do you want? It had been just yesterday that she had misunderstood me. I thought that she would take time to come around, but surprisingly the second I came down for my morning coffee, she was already there, asking me if I had free time to talk to her. She cleared her throat. I want to apologize. I blinked again. For yesterday. She nodded. I know. I should not have questioned an alpha, especially when I knew what you had gone through. It was stupid of me. But you did have a point. I did leave you guys out of the loop. You had that right to question me when you were going to fight for me. It does not seem fair. I will tell everyone present here what you want to know. There are some things that are personal, and I hope you can give me the right to have my privacy on those things. Madia's eyes widened. You will tell us. I nodded yes. Keeping you in the dark will not help at all. I believe that you all have brains to come with ideas of your own too. Aspen chuckled. Elira, I hope you know that alphas don't do that. They just order their pack members to get things done. No explanation. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Can we break the alpha's stereotypes? Please. If the alphas don't believe their pack members, how do they expect the members to believe in them too? A leader is not supposed to take a decision by themselves and then tell everyone else. They are supposed to discuss the situation with everyone in the pack, at least with everyone to whom that decision will affect, and then take the result that will benefit many, not just a few. Aspen shook her head and sighed as she took a seat next to Nadia. You know, that's definitely not how an alpha works. Nadia nodded. I think the Omicrons should teach their young about what it is to be a leader than about dominance and authority. I wonder how you are so open-minded when it comes to this. I glanced at the swirling coffee in my hand. I wanted tea this morning, but apparently, all the tea was over, and this was the secret stash Hayes had stored. I did miss my tea. I took a sip. I think it has something to do with the fact that I was human. Like I never had that wild side in me to make me so aggressive. I was assertive and dominant, yes. But if I had made a mistake, I knew to admit it and learn from it. I led the science sector in Westpac and it was like a hidden rank in my pack. Almost as equal as a Delta. I just was not given a proper title. I was a human when I led all those wolves and I was confident, but did not have head, weight. I was the youngest in my class and if I had to rise to that position in my pack when I was just 17, I had to know what humility was. I guess that's why I am a very different alpha. Nadia looked at me with her jaws dropping. That's why I want to keep everyone within the loop. I continued. I have seen what happened if a few scientists were not kept in the loop. I saw chaos reign. I know what can possibly happen if important information is withheld. That's why I want everyone to know. Nadia chuckled. I really hope that Omicrons learns this. Aspen said. I hope Eric learns this. Is that why you switched your pack? Nadia asked. Will you change your pack? I asked when Aspen remained silent. If Aspen did not want to change her pack, who was I to force her? Not to mention, she was the Alpha sister. But if she was to take Miguel from my pack, then we had to have a long conversation. Aspen looked out the window. Yes, Nadia blinked at her friend. Say what? Aspen shrugged. I am changing my pack. The vampire was still in shock. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Aspen hugged herself. I think he is exactly who I need now. He is willing to do so many things. Help me out. If I try to take him from his pack, I am not being fair to him. I frowned at her confession. You are willing to change your pack because it will affect Miguel. It did sound like I would win the damned bet. Aspen nodded. Yes, look. I killed my mate, even though I had perfect reasons to do so. He had been my mate when I killed him. He was still my other half when I lacerated his throat. It was like cutting a part of me and ripping it apart. It affected me so much. I never gave myself the help I needed. He is the only one who understands me now and wants to help me. How can I turn away? I looked directly into my female daughter's eyes. And for the first time, I saw fear in them, insecurity in them. If you plan to leave Miguel after, I would never. Aspen protested. This war, I continued. Don't join this pack. If you leave him after joining this pack, it will hurt him more, and I think you don't want to see an angry Alpha because you hurt her pack member. Bullshit. Aspen snarled, balling her fists. I marked him first. He is mine. Even if he wants to leave me for another female, I will challenge her. He is my mate for this lifetime. Even if you are against this, I will challenge you. I will challenge anybody who dares to separate us. I really don't know why that lump head did not mark me yet. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath before she opened them. Don't ever say that I would leave him alone. I could not help but smirk in amusement. Was this the half-bond she had with Miguel that made her speak like this, or did she really want him? As sure as the bright day out. I knew Miguel and Aspen did not get along the last time I checked, before I was taken by the East tribe. Nadia tried to contain her chuckle, but she ended up grinning like a fool. We saw each other and began to laugh. Aspen growled at us, but we both could not stop it. She growled. I tried my best to rein my laugh. Since when did you get so possessive over my Delta? Aspen looked away. Does it matter? As an Alpha, I began. I don't want to see my Delta be hurt. I heard from Mahaze how you marked Miguel. It seemed like political reasons to me. Aspen muttered. That was the only way to mark him's mine. Nadia frowned. What did you mutter? It was then I realized that my hearing was much enhanced at this vampire. Perhaps that pulsar in me was waking up. Nothing. That was the only way to mark him as yours. Glad that my cerebellum was working perfectly fine to catch the mug with my left hand that my right hand was about to drop. For the first time, I saw this female blush. Lyra. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Placing the mug on the table next to me, the red tint intensified on her face. I used to have these dreams about him. Ever since I saw him, I was drawn to him. He was oh so handsome and hot. Even with my ex-mate I never had these strong feelings. Yes, he infuriated me. But guess what? I wanted more. I did not know when the lines blurred. But now I don't see him as someone who was sent to annoy me. With that, she rubbed her face furiously, as much as she was embarrassed. Her answer put my mind at ease. At least now I knew that my Delta would be in good hands. Nadia whistled. I know that Miguel is hot and handsome and super sexy when he trains. Aspen snarled and her hands moved to her wolf as she held Nadia by her neck. What did you just say? Nadia tried to pry her friend's hand from her throat. I told you the truth in your face. Want me to say this behind your back and try to catch his attention? Aspen released Nadia. Try that, see. The second you decide to try will be your last day. I bit my lips. I never saw Miguel as handsome or even hot. Was he attractive? Yes, I will give that shifter that. There's something wrong with me. Let me finish. Nadia grinned. So you had dreams of him doing you? Aspen crossed her arms and turned away. Even though she did not answer verbally, her body did. The scent of arousal was indeed heavy in the kitchen. Naughty, naughty, Nadia teased. Did you even try to? Perhaps make those dreams real. Aspen snorted and exasperated. Why did you think I suddenly went on a shopping spree yesterday with Zara? That male is a damned fool. He can't take a hint. He shares his room with me. But you know what? He does not even sleep in the bed with me. He takes the mattress to the floor or sleeps on the couch. Not even a cuddle. I wonder who marked him. It's like he marked me. I am like a wanton. I definitely could not laugh. I knew how it was when Aries left me after he kissed me for the first time. Frustrated. Hot mess. But apparently, Nadia did not know how it was to be in that situation. She began to laugh. So much that she clutched her stomach as she hit the table with her fists. The kitchen housed no one apart from us this morning. But Nadia with this laugh would invite everyone. I could patiently sip my coffee to see what was happening. Something amusing. Aries asked in a lazy tone. The males in my pack were out with Varian. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. No better than Miguel here, Aries commented. And that guy said I was whiny when we separated. What do you mean? Aspen was glaring at her friend. Aspen drives him crazy, Aries said. I said Miguel to change the subject to make Varian talk. That idiot began to whine how he is. Let's not go there. I shook my head. These two needs to figure out what they want. That they should. He agreed. After a brief pause. We are coming over. Aspen glared at Nadia. You don't know what it's like. With that, Aspen shot up. Just then, 4 of them entered. Aries stood by the door and crossed his arms across his chest while Variant stood behind him with confusion written over his face. Just when Miguel was about to enter, Aspen strode past him and left the house. What happened? Miguel asked, his gaze focused on Aspen's retreating figure. It was a pity that my coffee was over. You should ask her. I felt intense possessiveness. That's why I came as soon as possible. Nadia coughed and left the room without saying another word. Seeing her, I washed my mug as fast as I could and trailed after her, giving Aries a peck on his lips. Who would have thought? Silas commented as he came to the living room, that Aries would be a romantic at heart. I paused. What do you mean? Silas rolled his eyes as he opened his tablet to check the news update. I used to think that he did not have a heart. He was too much into war. Miguel then brushed past me as he chased his mate. For some weird reason, I felt Aspen being my female delta would be the best thing. Before I could reply to Silas' comment, he held me, neither too tight nor too loose, spun me around and kissed me hard. If I did not know any better, I would say even after the entire night of passionate lovemaking, he was still unsatisfied. My body began to react. The heat I felt the shower quelled, roared back to life. One kiss was apparently enough to undo me. Silas coughed loudly. Don't need to prove anything. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. When our kiss stopped, he did not let me go out of his embrace. He gently rested his forehead against mine and took a deep breath in. I am not proving anything. I am merely kissing my soul, bound. Is there something wrong in there? The silver eyes that shone so full of mischievousness and mirth would definitely get me in trouble. I rarely saw this playful side of him. While his eyes lit up, there was a change in his entire face. It was the tiny lift of the corner of his lips, that little pull of his cheek muscle. I was falling all over again. They are lost to us. Varian's voice brought me back to earth. Silas sighed. I agree. Is there any coffee left? No, Varian replied. Ares smiled and released me from his embrace. He then cleared his throat. What would you say about meeting another warrior? At this, Silas placed his tablet carefully next to him and got up. Slowly he came up next to Ares. Who is it? Now Ares sighed. We cannot keep being here. We have to move to the Westpac. Taurus got some information regarding what was happening there. He's coming to tell us. I opened my mouth to protest. But Aunt is with him. If he is to come here, who will protect her? Ares shrugged. Taurus is confident about a male called Draco. Taurus gave me reassurance that Draco will protect Aunt. My eyes widened. Will he? I trusted Atlia with you, and no one questioned me. Ares said quietly. Even though you were kidnapped, you made a deal to get out safe. Aunt is safe because of you. I cannot question Taurus. You trust this male just like I trust you. I cannot question his integrity. I nodded. If you say so. He will come here with a male named Zyon. Ares said. Apparently, Zyon brings information from Livia. I nodded again. Hopefully I can fill what happened to these people here before they both arrive. Ares cocked his head towards Silas. I want you both to come with me. Who both? Silas asked. You and Varian. Ares said. As he walked out, why? Silas asked. But nonetheless followed him out. Varian just walked out quietly. I need to find someone. My soul, Bound replied. Who? Someone who goes by the name Aislinn. Ares replied. Why? I breathed in. Why not let her come in her own pace? She will regret it if she does not come. Ares said. And she is a good friend of Pieces. I hummed and the link went black again. Sighing, I took a seat. There was a slow bustling from various parts of the house. Many were rising up. Then the commotion became louder until Rai shouted something over the noise. Nadia came to the living room again. Have they all left? No, I dared panting. I am hiding them in a closet. Nadia gave me a blank look before she sat on a seat. I wonder what it is to be someone with a rank in a pack or Vanora tribe. Don't wonder, I said, closing my eyes. Nadia laughed lightly. You'll be the first alpha to say that. I opened my eyes. Call whoever wants to listen. I will answer all the questions with the utmost transparency as I can. To my aching extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. With a nod of her head, Nadia went to each room to inquire. Although we both started off in a misunderstanding, I could see why she was Aspen's friend, and it would have been a huge mistake on my part to ignore her. She was a female I would happily call a friend. People slowly began to fill in. It was Rai who came down tumbling with a female in her arms. This female was quite different from the way Rai was hugging her. I knew this must be her mate, the Delta of Eric's back. I must admit, I had been narrow-minded. I had been under the illusion that since the Delta trained the entire pack, she would be much taller and skinny, or at least muscular. But the female before me was of average height and she was curvy. I could never tell that I was curvy or skinny. I was somewhere in between. But seeing this female, I hoped I was not gaping. I dug my feelings deeper to see if I was envious. But thankfully I was not. She was beautiful in her own right. My name is Sheila. Smiling warmly, I am the Delta of my pack, the mate of Ray and Ruri. I nodded. Elful Iris Throne. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. My sister and a mate came to the living room, but they were discussing something serious. Sheila smiled at me before pulling Rai towards me. She then sat on the seat next to me and pulled her mate on top of her. We are sorry, Sheila said, with a small smile. I could not help but frown. If yesterday my mate seemed to have offended your mate, The Delta of Eric's back said. Offending an alpha's mate is a crime. I looked down, like a child who was caught stealing cookies. I took in a deep breath. She just called him by his name. Next time, please make sure that she does not repeat it. I then mumbled. How should I address him then? He represents the light of Almaris. Kane said. Suddenly, his primary element is fire. And he was the first to land on Earth when Luna summoned the warriors. You can call him either as Light of Amaris if he is the only shifter present in a warrior's gathering, or you can call him as First Warrior. As we five plunged into a conversation about names and their origin, people slowly trickled in. When people no longer came, a vampire shouted above the loud murmurs. Silence. A second later, Nadia slipped in. Hello, everyone, I said, keeping my voice blank of emotion. As you all know, I am Elful Iris Throne. I bet you all have many questions and you can ask me. A vampire raised her hand. Why were you kidnapped? Because I, to my agent extraordinaire, Mylan Nilben, hearts that thanks her unfailing patience, enthusiasm, found that Alpha Eth and Ver was my mate. He rejected me and his chosen mate banished me out of the Westpac. Later he found that the children born to mates would be strong. Hence, he wanted me to bear him children. Various degrees of shock was etched on different people's face. As murmurs broke out, a female scoffed. Which one with Alpha Ver IR? At that, my sister calmly raised her eyebrows. What the hell do you mean? Alpha Ver IR is LYR is mate, she exclaimed. He has all rights over her. Kane blinked slowly. What part of being rejected and being banished do you not understand? The werewolf snorted. Alpha Ethan is her mate. He is an alpha. He has all the rights. She belongs to him. Fire raced in my veins. Belonged to Ethan. Ethan had all rights over me. In what world did we live in? Since when did the alpha see their mates as an object? The audacity of this werewolf. I belong to him. I saw fear in the werewolf's eyes. But she held her ground. Yes, you should listen to him. Your body was made to please him. You are meant to love him unconditionally. No matter what. You cannot abandon your mate, even if he takes another female to bed. He's your mate at the end of the day. You should learn to forgive him. You, what the fuck are you spewing? Eric snarled. Learn to forgive him. What world are you living in? Be glad Ares is not here. He said, her lips pulling up in a snarl. If he heard this, let's say you won't live to another second. That was when the flames that danced in the vertically with my blood snapped to my skin. Unlike Miguel's fire that was of various shades. Mine was pure white. It licked my hands and tried to reach out to the female who indirectly called the bond I had with Ares' foe. I heard gasps around me, but I could not see it past the fury that ran in my body. How could she ever talk like that? What right did she have to say like that about me? The female slowly bared her neck, saying me. It is not the way. The rank holder has absolute authority. At her words, even though my fire urged me to torch her down, I held back. As much as her words were stupid, I saw where she came from. How could she believe otherwise when this was what she was taught from the beginning? What is your name? Reading that my fire. I still had to know if this fire was from me or from Ares. EPI1, she mumbled. EPI1 Akel. I took in a deep breath. Where at first glance she might be just a pliant werewolf, there was something more dangerous lurking beneath her skin. Something older. Something darker. Something chaotic. Which pack are you from? I asked her. She gulped. I come from Alpha Cedric's pack. I glanced around. Is there anyone from Alpha Cedric's pack here? My hand shot up. I'm Gamma Alex Wright. Who is EPI1? I asked him. The female lowered her head but did not utter another word. She Gamma Alex began. 5 years ago. Once when we were on a patrol, we found an unconscious female in our pack borders. We took her in and saved her. She said she remembered only her name. After 1 year of closely watching her, we decided she was not harmful. She became a part of our pack. Is there anything wrong? I shook my head. Nothing. There's nothing wrong with her. With that, I began to answer the questions others asked me. What I could not reveal about Luna, I could answer other questions. The meeting stopped when Atspin came in announcing that it was a lunch break. Who cooked? Eric asked, rubbing his stomach. It was damned delicious. I know, right? Brent agreed, burping loud. I snorted as I drank my soda. They were right. The food was amazing. I leaned into Aries' arms. It was rare for all of us to eat together without any commotion. Kane and Zara beamed. They wore matching smirks as Zara said. We did it. Corvus gaped. You cooked. Who knew? Arhage shook her head. At least, I won't starve anymore. At that, we began to laugh. Everyone knew how Arhage cooked. Only when a series of knocks were heard, we stopped our laughter. Jed got up to open the door. Aries stiffened next to me, just as I was about to ask what was wrong. The main door opened and 2 males entered. One had silver eyes, just like Aries and Gemini, while the other had heterochromate A. One eye was a cool tint of hard sapphire and the other a brilliant shade of vermilion. His hair was black as the darkest night. Although he looked like a teenaged boy, I could feel how much powerful he was. Silas welcomed the silver-eyed male. The warrior grunted at him and then nodded at Aries. This is your soul bound. Aries shrugged. Why ask a question to which you know the answer to? Taurus' eyes sized me up. When his gaze met mine, I refused to back down. So what if he was a warrior? What if he was a star? I was opposed to. I was soul bound to Aries. Satisfaction gleamed in his eyes. You choose well. Aries smiled, as if she would have allowed me to choose another. I blinked at him. What did you say? Taurus smirked. Soul bounds. They are called so because your soul. Bind their soul with yours. You would never know what your soul is doing. Unless you are a star. You cannot control your soul. If your soul called out to him, he has no other choice but to respond. Before Aries could say anything, to my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I am Pulsar. Shock flashed in his eyes. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Aries nodded. A registered Pulsar. First generation Pulsar. I know. Why not tell them? About you being assigned to me and the memory wipe, yes. They have to figure that on their own. Aries said. He has to find out the Pulsar who was assigned to him first, and only then can he find out who they were to each other. I can slowly remember everything, and I know that even you do. They have to find their path. Naira. Taurus' eyes widened as he shook his head in disbelief. We do see a few new things. Then he hit the boy's shoulder. This is Eyon. Arhage stood up. And he is. Taurus shrugged. He says he was grown up by his sister. Don't know anything about himself. How do you know him? Silas asked. He happened to be Draco's friend, Taurus said, and came from Westpac contacted him to say something to a warrior. Since Draco knew me, Zyon reached out to me. What is it? Taurus nodded. It is okay. You can proceed. Zyon sighed. Westpac. They are experimenting on a female named Nira. They had impregnated her with hybrids that Harper can control. While these hybrids may be the best, Harper has an army of hybrids that she can control. She can mind, control them. An ugly silence fell over us. The food I had eaten threatened to come out. The last time I checked, Nira was Harper's beta and Andrew's mate. It was for Nira Andrew betrayed me. And now, they were experimenting on Nira. Something was not adding up. What kind of hybrids? Aries asked. Zyon looked directly into Aries' eyes without flinching. A cross of a werewolf and a star. 70% star and rest werewolf for a vampire or mag YC. My eyes widened. That's a kind of project Summer Coven did 20 years ago. Zyon nodded yes. They played with genetics. Very bad. Aries' eyes hardened. How is Harper sustaining Near's life? Zion met my soul, Bound's gaze with equal hardness. She has a star named W under her control. She took His genes and her energy to do this project. Literally, He's dying there. Hayes inhaled sharply. Why does the name sound familiar? Ares snarled. He is Alioth's sister, daughter of Ursa and Northern Star. She in a sense has her mother's powers. What do you mean? To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilban. Hearts are saints, her unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Ares began. She did not belong to the four elements we represented. She had an element of her own. She represented space itself. Not many knew that. She can manipulate space. Just like her mother. I don't think he knows the extent of her powers. No matter what, she could not be contained. Space cannot be contained. Chapter 32.1. Alioth literally glided over the crystalline pathway. Psyche was just an inch behind her. While once, she had stood by and admired the swirling sands that raged beneath the bridge to her sister's place. She could not bring herself to stop and admire them. Eze was waiting for her at the entrance. As much as Eze was a brilliant scientist. She was once a strong warrior, so strong that she would give her Psyche a run for energy. Just as expected, her half-sister had abandoned her coats and took her armor. A long sword rested on her shoulder, as if it had always belonged there, and she held a long, range bow on the other hand. While stars usually fought with bare hands using their brute strengths, some preferred weapons. I can't believe it. Eze snarled when she reached close. I can't believe that ADIRA had the audacity to sell His location. While not many knew, he was quite a special star. She had, in addition to receiving their mother's fertility, she had also inherited URS's ability to bend space to her will. To put it in simple words, if the universe was coded, he had the ability to change the code to her will. Worlds were not simply created. Only those who can bend space can create worlds. Survey could bend space to her will, and hence she created worlds. He could create worlds if she wanted to. But unfortunately, her powers were way too much for her. The last time he tried to use her power, she was on the brink of insanity. It was like with URS's death. A part of His power was fragmented. Until he collected herself. Using her power would be equivalent to killing herself. That was the reason why they made ADIRA look after her. ADIRA had been Meg's mother's most faithful warrior. To imagine she would do this. Are you sure it is ADIRA? Psyche asked, a frown marring his face. Eze nodded. I beat the energy out of her. She receives a quantum of energy every minute, just to keep her alive. Survey is coming to investigate this. Alioth could not help but gasp. Survey, she is coming. It's been ages since she came. Eze began to walk inside the crystalline structure, with Alioth and Psyche trailing behind her. Not only Survey, Kamatu. Oh my. Alioth gasped. Kamatu. Eze clet teeth. If Kamar says that this kidnapping is needed, I will assassinate Kamar himself. Let fate be damned. The universe held no close association with heat or cold. It just existed. It did not have any concept of time or temperature or distance. After being on Earth for 2,000 years, this was a bit peculiar to her. But right now, the uncaring temperature dropped a few degrees. A weird kind of illness raced up her body. Her energy was frizzy, and it noticed the presence of someone more powerful than herself. Fate be damned. A cool voice asked. That is quite cold of you. Eze. Eze rolled her eyes. So what if you are the king of this part of the universe? So what if you have 10 worlds under your control? What if your soul, Bound, created them all? My sister is missing, and you damn well wrote her fate. Alioth turned to see Kamar in his form. The moon the people of Earth worshipped. His hair was silver, and this form of his had eyes as black as darkness. As if to say from where he hailed. His core was mayhem and destruction. He was a child of chaos. Next to him stood a lady in gold. She was positively glowing with a soft shine. Even though her face was hard, there was a softness in her eyes. Survey was every bit a daughter of Cosmos was. Our youth bowed her head to show her respect. Megar Easy was his niece and she had equal grit in her soul. But our youth was different. Fate followed her example. I hope you know, Kamar began. If not for your mother, you won't be let off easily. Megar Easy snorted. Cut it. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfading patience, enthusiasm. I don't care. She walked in with her head held high. Survey gave Ayoth a smile and the female warrior returned it. They walked in the core of the chamber where Dabhi resided in. Mysar and Kendra were already there with Polaris, the Northern Star and his consort, Saren, who was Qamar's sister. She was born along with him. Her father was grim while Saren was fuming. Though he was not her child. Saren was the one who grew her up. Saren? Kamar began slowly. Quit being agitated. My daughter is taken. Kamar. Saren seethed. You expect me to stay still? Kamar nodded gravely. My daughter is held somewhere. Saren threw her hands up. This is idiocy. You know where your daughter is. Of all people in this universe, you would know. Survey glanced at her soul, bound before she sighed. Of course we know where, but we can't release her just like that. Ayuf gave Survey an incredulous look. What? You know where Luna is? Survey shared a glance with Kamar. We do. Serenet's eyes darkened considerably. What did you just say? Kamar closed his eyes. Luna is bound by the very chains of air used to bind foul land. She is caught in a space she had created herself. Since her powers are being used to bind her, she cannot be simply freed. Had an IAVA had been free or had Carwin been sane, Luna would not be in such a predicament. But they have their own battles to fight. The only person who can release Luna happens to be her descendant. Aunt Leah, Ayov gasped. She is a child. Survey nodded. But she managed to carry the essence of Cosmos from Luna. So Saren began. You did know what happened with Luna. How could be silent? Brother, do you know how worried Amaris, Kamaria and Chandra are? Kamar sighed. I know. But the future is never predictable. While I can control time to an extent, I will not do it for everything. I can't do for everything. There is a codex that I as a fate writer must follow. As much as I write every owner's fate in this room, I write the possibilities. With each decision you take, the future changes. Saren glared at her brother. Then tell me where the hell is Dabhi? Kamar glanced at his soul, bound. I can't. Why so? Saren cried. Survey took a step forward. This is the future where Dabhi will meet her soul, bound. At that magical word, Saren quietened. I don't care if she will meet her soul, bound like that. Polaris said quietly. I want to know what happens to my daughter. I know what fate you have written for her. Kamar. I know. Saren gaped at her soul bound. What do you mean? Polaris. What is her fate? While Polaris and Kamar were having a staring contest, Survey broke the tension. She has two fates. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfading patience, enthusiasm. Either being kidnapped by Melanda, undergoing this torture and finally meeting her soul, bound. At the end of this fate, she ends creating a world. There was another fate. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. A fate heard up he is not kidnapped, where she absorbs the raw ether and ends creating a soul, cleaving weapon which she eventually hands over to Melanda. It depended whether she trusted a DIRA or not. Megar's blinked. I am one of the most brilliant scientists out there. Yet I cannot understand how these two fates of my sister are connected to ADIRA. Kamar broke the staring match. If she trusted ADIRA, she would have been kidnapped by Nalanda. If she did not trust ADIRA, she would become a weapon for Nalanda. Saren shook her head in disbelief. So, He trusting Adiri and being kidnapped by Milan, that was the only way you had the chances of saving your daughter. Server's eyes blazed for a second. Never. This is a decision he made for herself. We just write a million possibilities and make sure that all the dots connect no matter what. Mizar opened his mouth for the first time. So now he won't be Milanta's weapon. Survey took in a deep breath. As though she was a human now. A wolf named Nira carries for of HES children. What is a cross between a star and shifter? Other a cross between a star and vampire. Third a cross between a star and a magwisi. The fourth happens to be just a star if he decides to grow even one of the 4 kids as hers. She will become Milanta's weapon. She will forge a soul, cleaving weapon by Aether's will. She will. Megar Easy whispered. Survey nodded. She will. Kendra raised her head. We have to stop that. At that, everyone saw her. Alioth had mixed feelings towards Kendra. This female had been Miguel's mate and now her brother's soul. Bound. There had been a few instances where Alioth hated her and a few instances where she saw herself being friends with this female. How Megar Easy asked, crossing her arms. What do you mean? Saren asked. Kendra sighed. I know. But what if we interfered? What if because of our interception, Mira lost all the 4 kids? In that way, we can ensure that he will be safe. That's not how fate works. PH exclaimed. That's cruel. Alioth commented. You can't do that to a female. Then you want he to grow a child and become a weapon for Milanda? Kendra asked. That's not what I meant. PH protested. I am saying you can't meddle with fate. Kamar was silent. Alioth saw him. What is it? As much as that is a possibility. Anything can change. Kendra, we can't intervene. Mizar asked. It would not be wise to. Survey said. But, Mizar began. Since when her brother interested in changing the fate? Was it because he was newly soul, bounded? Alioth could no longer look at her brother. There has been a time when he would have said that this was HES life. Only she had the right to choose what she deemed the best for her. Now he was siding with Kendra, deciding for he. Was this change good? Necessary? Who knew? It is not good to intervene, Kamar said. As much as there is a fate written if you intervene, it will set a ripple effect. Everything will be affected. But isn't there a chance where he will not be Milanta's weapon? Kendra asked. Kamar sighed. There are always 2 paths for each choice. Then we can take it. Right. Are you crazy? Megar Easy asked. That is a total of the lives you are talking about killing. For innocent lives. But if those for lives are going to decide who's going to survive this battle, why not? Kendra retaliated. Why not? PH began. I agree with, Mizar said at the same time. Survey castigated. Aries soul, binding itself is a game changer. The bond he has with that pulsar, Lyra, is more than enough. Milana could possibly not see that happening. Lyra is a pulsar. Mizar asked. She's a pulsar. Our youth questioned at the same time. Their father just chuckled as if he knew everything. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nolban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Colaris knew everything. Survey nodded yes. Lyra is a pulsar brought to Origins way before I was born. She was assigned to stabilize Ares' soul. About 4,000 years ago when Yukine and Canis were killed because they formed a bond, Cosmos erased the pulsars of their memories and stripped their identities. Erased the warriors' memories too. Then I came and told Survey and Luna to take care of the pulsar souls, Polara said quietly. Alioth blinked at her father with wide eyes. He knew, Kamar said. They both hold responsibility for those souls until they mature. And how will we know she has matured? PH asked. When she is strong enough to wield the cosmic flame. The fate, writer said. That is when she has matured. Megar Easy closed her eyes. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nolban, Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. She is soul, bounded to Aries. Fire would be the element she would represent. So Miser began. Her maturity has nothing to do with her shifting. Survey gave him a crooked grin. She's a pulsar by nature. Why would her maturing factor depend on a race that belongs to Earth? But her shifting, Ayoth protested. She can shift any time she wishes after she wields her flame. Kamar said. I hope someone says to her that. Or else, we have to wait for a triggering factor for her to shift. Whatever Psy-Peach was about to say was interrupted by the beeping green light that blinked on Meg Ray's ES sensor. Her sister touched her ears as though she was listening to a wave of a certain frequency. By W. Elkins, she muttered. If Meg Ray's E was agitated, then it was definitely not good. She was a perfect creature who was half star and half pulsar. Literally nothing could faze her. She had even won against Survey. There was a reason why Kamat rusted Meg Ray's E to be one of his commanders to lead his army and serve. A believed Meg Ray's E could revolutionize the science the way they knew. What happened? Polaris asked his daughter. Meg Ray's E gritted her teeth. Remember Galen, the unregistered pulsar who was in interrogation. Rio Natch freed him and took 3 stars with them. What? Saren shouted. Meg Ray's E nodded. Galen apparently has a child on Earth. He is going down with the 3 stars. Why? Saren asked. QA Mars' eyes flashed white before he became calm as ever. Milanda promised him that if she won the battle, she would give Galen an S-child to him. If not, she would kill his child. Without another word said among the siblings. The 3 ways to the Earth. Even if Dab he was safe at the moment. This Galen was not a like thing. He was pulsar because he identified himself to be one. For his maternal side had the roots to something more primal than the race cosmos and chaos created. He could walk in both the living and the dead world at the same time, and the way he rushed to find his child. Alioth could only assume that Galen's child had inherited this power. Chapter 33. The sun woke from its deep slumber the next morning, slowly peeking behind the grey clouds. It gave him a silver lining before torching the entire without-clothes sky with various shades of gold and orange. Then slowly it sent its army to touch the earth in various shades of copper. It was a sight to behold. The amber sky gave way to the morning birds that called out to their companions in their loudest voices. The leaves that blazed under that orange sunshine. The puddles of water, and the dew lit up like scattered diamonds. As much there was a harshness to the sharp glare of the morning, there was a hidden softness behind the sunlight. I sighed as I glanced at my hot black tea. Just yesterday Taurus and Eyon told us what was happening in Westpac. Just yesterday we decided it was enough. Just yesterday we planned to strike first. Just yesterday I was the alpha of a tiny unknown pack. But that felt like it was a year ago. When in fact, it had been just today. Ethan rejecting me was just merely 3 months ago, but it felt like it was a lifetime ago. The serenity the world had around me was lost to the swirling storm of my soul. I tried to find that calmness, that center of the confusion, but I was pulled by the strong winds again. A warm hand touched my shoulder before he sat next to me. Our haze is getting everyone up and ready. I nodded as I sipped my tea. There was absolutely no one I would trust more than a haze. While Aries may be my soul bound, while we may have an eternity before us, I knew our haze the best. It would take a little more time for me to have this confidence in Aries. As much as it hurts, feigning as though he was hurt. I understand. I rolled my eyes. It's not that I don't trust you. I know how much you trust me, he said softly. And after your entire pack betraying you, I am surprised you can even trust me. I trust you, I exclaimed. I trust Kane, Tharian, Iselin and Aspen. He gave me a long look. You thought twice about saying anything to Andrew. And he was your good friend. It was instinctive. Aries shook his head. I wish you would allow me to track him, so you can kill him the way you wish to. Smiling sweetly, perhaps shake him a little. I mean, I do want to kill him using the torture methods I have seen the history making, but I consent your bloodlust to. You want your share to. And recently I found out that I can be generous. Recently. Ever since I met you. Ares nodded seriously. I gave him a sideways glance. Seriously? Yep, he said. Of all the people I have met in my life, it is you. I blinked at that word and set my mug next to me. Tell me why you chose me. Why of all the people you have met in your life? Why me? Why did you want me? Why not? To my agent extraordinaire, Webnovel, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I winced. He brushed a single strand of my hair behind my ear. It is true. I have met many souls who had indeed made heart race, made my body quiver in excitement, made me realize that there was a softness in me. A few had even made me smile in the darkest of times. But none had ever made me question my existence. None made me feel that though I had kin of 12, I was alone. None made my blood to sing their name. Literally next to one should me say what purpose I had. I'm a warrior of moon, and that was all I was until I met you. But meeting you, he continued, it was not like I saw the light in my life for the first time. I saw the beauty the darkness could offer, the softness of snow-hate, the hopeless hope the heat had. Though life is a journey that never stops, I found that it would be better if you walked with me. You did not just make my heart race, my body blaze. You did not just make me smile when I was down, nor did you make me realize that I had a softness in me. No, you reminded me of what strength is. You made me question my purpose. Was I just a warrior? Would I fade one day like that? His face blurred, and I realized that tears had welled in my eyes. My lips quivered. What the hell would I say to this? There was a female I had once met. Before, when my memory of you was taken. His voice matching the mellow of the morning light. She was an amazing female. Just once glance, and I was on my knees. At those words, rage piled in my blood. Just who was this female? Someone you don't need to worry about, he said with a smile. She found her mate and happily settled with him. It happened about 600 years ago. I gritted my teeth. He laughed. To my agent extraordinaire, Webnovel, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Even she did not make me go mad, did not make me do stupid things, did not make me crave to wear her scent on my skin. I hated it when I even found a trace of her scent on me, and I thought I loved her. I thought that since the scent was a star's weakness, I never revealed it to her. Neither did my soul reveal it to her. But you are a very different story altogether. My soul found yours to be perfectly compatible with mine, and without my knowledge revealed who I was to you. It bared me, soul without clothes, did stupid things. I asked him. He raised his eyebrows. I turned into a cat just so I can spend my time with you. Just so you would cuddle me to sleep. I bit my chuckle. I did love midnight. So he said, I am pretty sure you made me do stupid things. Lyra, like making me give you my room. Just so I could inhale that scent of yours after you slept on my bed. Just so. You would have claimed everything in that room as yours with your scent, because I secretly hoped that one day I might have your scent on my skin. I stole a bracelet of yours because I wanted something of yours to calm myself down. I even went as far as tracking your father by the memory you had of him to know how you like your coffee the best. I did many more stupid things. Things if you haven't, things if Leo her die of laughing. I sniffed in Lee and into him. We were marching for war, and these little moments made life worth living. Zy on left. Very asked. Yes, Tors replied. What else does he have to do here? Sound stupid. Hayes commented. I mean, I am no star or pulsar or whatever higher race, but I sensed one hell of power from him. We were closer to the West Pack than ever. Sidus brought his men to the battle. As expected, due to some internal conflict. Only half the force of North Tribe and Summer Tribe came. Only those who were loyal to Corvus came from Spring Tribe and Spring Pack. The numbers did not exceed, nor reduce than what my Beta, my Delta, Varian I had discussed. By next morning we would infiltrate the West Pack, and probably stop whatever experiment Harper was doing on Nera. Kane bit her lower lip. It's not like we need ZY on to win, but it won't hurt to have someone as powerful as him on our side, Miguel muttered. Taurus nodded. As much as I hate to say this, he's pretty powerful. I don't know what his origin is, but he can pack one strong punch. Cowboy, even he does not know what his origin is. I can't pinpoint to what his origin is. It is neither a star nor a pulsar. Ares' brows met. Who grew him up? Zyont says it is sister who grew him up. Taurus sighed. Wish I knew more about his sister, but he refuses to tell a word about her. Just as we were planning to attack tomorrow, I ran to our table that was out in the open. Tents were put up for resting, but we planned the battle out. Her hair was frazzled and her skin was painted by blood. Westpac, she gasped as she fell on the floor. They found out about this and they are moving on to us. EP-1 and I left to spy and they found us. Harper got EP-1 in her clutches and EP-1 somehow managed to get me out alive. I came to tell you this. Just as Rai was about to fall down on her knees, Sheila rushed towards her mate and caught her. Our camp became silent. The war that we chased after rerouted and came back at us. But we had been preparing an entire week for this. Haven't we? What was there to fear? How much time will it take for Springpack and Tribe to reach here? I asked Corvus. He blinked at me before he cleared his throat. About a day. I glanced at Kane. My beta's mate nodded. North Tribe is not far. They are just a couple of hours away. Gritting my teeth, I raised my voice. Hopefully, this would be my first and the last battle I led as an alpha. I am honored. I am honored to fight alongside with you all. We have been chasing after Westpac for a weekend now. They have done a favor to strike at us. We are prepared for this war. We don't need to have fear in our hearts. Some might fight today because you know me. I glanced at Jard, the warlock who happened to be a good friend of Aspen, or because of an alliance. I saw Omicron Riley, Epsilon Sorrel and the allies Alpha Eric brought, or because you are my friend. I changed my sight to Corvus, Nadia, Jed, Eric and a few people who I had befriended, or because you consider me as kin. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Kane, to my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Silas and Taurus smirked at that. Or because you are in my pack. My pack members smiled at me, sending me their warmth through our pack bond. Or because you're my mate. Ares held my hand. But whatever reason made you come here, I hope it will make you fight this war too. Apart from a yes heavy breathing, I could not hear any other sounds. Technically, royals should have interceded this battle, but because of the misfortune that fell on the royals, we are left alone. Had the king and queen been alive, I am sure they would have fought for me. If Atlia, their daughter, believed that I was worth fighting for, would they not too? For I was a rejected female. But Alpha Ethan Vor is cruelty does not end there. You went as far as banishing me and my sister from our pack lands for a mistake that was never ours. He killed my father and my best friend. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Who I came to know just met her mate. However, she began an inhumane project that all the scientists forced Summer Coven to shut down. At those words, many gave me my undivided attention. For what happened 20 years ago was not something anyone could easily forget. Females for that particular year lived in fear. Sunakov added a project I hope you all know. I continued. A project where they inseminated females with poems of different races to study the genetic effect. Telling them the truth was not wise now. A project where many homes lost their daughters, sisters, wives. Harper is beginning that project, and to stop her, this war may be the only language she might understand. At that, Sheila gasped as she rose up, with her mate in her arms. I lost my sister to that project. I won't hold back. My daughter, Gamma Alex said, the wolf from Alphas as Kespakshi, was taken and we found her in shreds. My mate literally went insane because of that. If I have to die fighting this Harper, so be it. While the cheers of running in the war roared across the clearing, insecurity ran through me. What if I was just leading them to their demise? Would I be able to handle another loss? I lost my father, my best friend, Nash. Would I be ready to lose another? Someone stood next to me and they offered me strength. When I turned to see who it was, I was surprised to see that it was not Ares. You know, he began, his voice gruff, when Miguel was a lost cause. You gave him a damned title to save his sanity. When the last royal was in danger, you gambled with your life to save her. When you said that none of your pack members would ever find revenge. I will admit, I was pissed at you, but I understood what made you take that decision. It took me so many days to come to terms with it. Had my son been alive, he would have wanted to save Antlia too. I gulped. What if, as Miguel once said, Therian said, the world has indeed forgotten what a shifter is. If this battle will bring light to us again, why not? You know, to my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Looking around me as people were getting ready for the battle, Ares and Taurus were close by, but they appeared to be in a deep conversation. Miguel was running behind Aspen and Shyla was rooted in her place with Rye in her arms. I wanted to give you a damned title. Varia unsmirked weakly. A title is not going to decide my worth. As long as I am a good mate and a good father, something which I have failed at being. I don't need titles. I just wanted a family after those long years of loneliness. You gave me that. I inhaled sharply. Thank you. He shook his head. No, thank you. While the commotion was still going around us, I heard a faint buzz, giving Varian a guilty look. I focused the sound to come from above me, just as I was about to call Ares. He and Taurus were looking up as well, from the sky, like falling stars. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfading patience, enthusiasm. Psyche, and another female I did not know landed, while Alioth gave me a smirk. Psyche gave me a soft smile. The other female, on the other hand, she looked not just ready for battle. She looked like she was battle itself, like she had made a treaty with war to be a part of her soul. Taurus gasped at that female while Ares gave her a smile. Mega easy. I am surprised Saren allowed you to leave your home. Mega easy snorted. My mother does not have an absolute hold on me, especially when Melanda has taken Dubhi. You know how protective my mother is of her. Just like that. Miguel cut through the crowd. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Ayoth grinned at that Phoenix's shifter. While the two friends embraced each other, Psyche had a guarded expression while Aspen growled. Who the hell is this female? Alioth released her friend and sized Aspen. And, who the hell are you? As much as Aspen was an alpha and I had confidence in her that she would win over most wolves, I had very little hope that she would win over a star. She snarled as she pulled Miguel to her side. This idiot's mate. Miguel slowly turned his head to Aspen as his jaw dropped. This might be the only thing that may prove to him how much Aspen actually wanted him. All those days when Kane and I said, he never listened. Ayo rose her eyebrows. I am this idiot's best friend. We spent 600 years together. I did not know what Ayoth was thinking, but she was clearly riling Aspen more so. Aspen pushed Miguel behind her. Before Ayoth could tell another word, Megaes intervened. Can you have your spat later? Psyche smirked at something and turned his head to Ares and Taurus. We are so having this conversation after this battle, Aspen said, folding her arms across her chest. Alioth glowered, but I could see a bit of amusement in her eyes. I will look forward to it. Taurus cleared his throat. Why have you three come? Is it for Dubhi? Ares asked. Megaes shared a look with her sister before that star said, Dubhi may be a reason, but Melanda made a deal with the Pulsar and released him out of the prison. Who my soul bound asked. Galen, Saipi answered. I think you both know about him more than anyone here. That name struck me somewhere in my memory. But where? Taurus gritted his teeth. Melanda released him. Why, who is this now? Hayes asked. I am too tired of remembering everyone. Ares had a grim expression. Galen is someone who was born to a pulsar and a race that is older than cosmos and chaos. The universe is vast and ever expanding. There are so many things that the universe had hidden from cosmos and chaos itself. One race is this. It is better if I don't say that name. Galen is someone who can walk in both the living and the dead world at the same time. That's dangerous. Halkane asked. Death is something that even we stars and pulsars don't trample with. Taurus closed his eyes and opened it. Perhaps. Yes, death. So Melanda recruiting him, I began. She said that if she won the war, Megares cut me. He can have his daughter. But if she lost, he would never see his daughter. Ares frowned. He has a daughter. Whom did he have that daughter with? Alioth shook her head. We don't know. We just know that his daughter is on Earth. While the people who surrounded us looked at the stars in confusion and awe, something must have told them the power these stars were oozing out. Something that made them silent and listen to us without disturbing. Psyche H then looked at me and smiled. A pulsar, huh? Perhaps. I should have listened to my gut feeling. And now, you are even Ares' soul bound. I must say, Lyra, you did surprise me. Alioth nodded. I can't believe that I just helped Harry's soul bound. I mean, I can't believe that this male even got a soul bound. Megares bit her lip like she was trying her best to control her chuckle. What is it? Ares growled at her. Megares shook her head. Not telling you. Megares. Ares warned, his eyes flashing. I expected that ugly shade of green to overpower me, but I was not jealous of the interaction. Not at all. I would have been jealous if I was not confident in what we both had. I would have been jealous if I questioned his love for me. But I knew better. Better than anyone else. She still had that mischievous smile and shook her head. You can't read her mind? Miguel asked, blinking slowly. Ares scowled. She is the daughter of Polaris and Saren. A star and a pulsar. She is the perfect half of each race. She is stronger than us. Not to mention, Saren is Moon's sister, which makes this female a half-quasar. I can even read a first-generation star's mind, that this hybrid is stronger than either of her parents. Taurus gulped. Megares laughed. True. To my agent extraordinaire, Mylan Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfading enthusiasm. I was just wondering that if I can be this powerful, then how powerful the child you have with your soul bound will be. I mean, ever since Lyra met you both have become exceptionally strong. I thought you can actually break my mental barrier. Considering that you share a soul, bond with a pulsar, that is enough to, I don't know, overpower Everquassers. Alioth hummed. That's right. The most important question, was I embarrassed? No conception was rare among werewolves, owing to their long lives, and it was even rare among stars. The longer the lifespan you have, the lesser the fertility of the race. It was a rule of survival. So was pregnant or if I would be in the future, it would be a blessing. Just for Megares thinking I would have a chance in motherhood. I ought to give her sweets. Ares gave her a blank look. I don't think my child is any of your concern. How we will grow our child is something I will discuss with Lyra. Not you. It was a different kind of heat that bloomed in me that instant. I knew of lust, of passion and those midnight promises. But this was something else. Something that held a promise. A promise that burned through time. Soul, binding was forever. I knew that. But this, thought of family resonated more loudly than anything. Oh please. Megares exasperated. I am the only known hybrid. I will be the best aunt. Was this conversation necessary now? I am not even with a child. Is this even important to talk about this now? I mean, I started. You're right, Psy-PH said. We did not come just because of that. Then, what else? Varian asked, giving the people who were caught up with their own discussion. He, Psy-PH said, and had Meg raise ES attention just like that. She had to Fate's. Taurus's eyes widened. Kamar actually told her Fate. Alioth grimaced. Not Kamar, but Survey. I know. She defended when the two warriors gave her an incredulous look. It does not make a difference. But my father said he knew Hes Fates and hence. Survey told us. Taurus asked, what was Hes fate? Hes cleared her throat. If he was not taken by Melantha, she would forge a soul, cleaving weapon and surrender it to Melantha. Ares and Taurus both swore. I could feel Ares' rage through our bond. Never have I felt any emotion this intense from him. But this soul, cleaving weapon, I knew it. Saw one of my best friend and her soul, bound die because of it. There was absolutely nothing that it could not destroy. Is this a big issue? Miguel asked. Psy-PH nodded. Very big. As soon as we learnt this, we searched all we can if we found any other substance. That's where we are late. Alioth bit her lips. Souls are supposed to cycle over and over again. In a way, they are energy, just another form. This is the basis of life in the universe. No matter in which part you are in, this rule is to be followed. Hes then took over. But soul, cleaving weapon, it can destroy souls and make their will to take control over that energy. The one who is soul, cleaving weapon can control life itself. For the souls do not wish to be killed and the ones who are killed by this weapon. The wilder and mold that soul to be anything. Do anything he or she wished. And this weapon can be made only by a substance known as Ether. No, that was what they knew. A second generation soul would be destroyed. But a first generation, it would be born again. It had been a shock even to Cosmos after he had used that weapon on Yukane and Callison found that destroyed. The soul, cleaving weapon was much more than this and not even Cosmos knew about it. This was one of the many things that we pulsars were researching about in Origins. Only if I got my memories back, I could do something. What the fuck? Hayes breathed. Is that even possible? Anything is possible in the universe. Alioth said. And he being Urs's daughter who has the power of space. She can literally track the whereabouts of Ether and forge a weapon. Slowly, using me as an anchor. Ares let his anger go. He is kidnapped by Melantha. So, she won't forge such a weapon. Psy-PH braced himself. That's the trick. In Neera's womb, for of Hes children are growing. If he decides to grow even one child as hers, she will forge such a weapon and hand it over to Rionach. This is screwed up, Taurus muttered. Very much. Arioth nodded. We know that. So we can just kill Neera and be done with it. Miguel suggested, as much as logic agreed that it was a good decision. It was not fair for Neera. It was cruel to kill those children who did nothing wrong. Kamar said it was advisable to not interfere. Hes said. Taurus took in a deep breath and sighed loudly. And I thought that you not being the only half-star and half-pulsar was the most important thing. Hes frowned. What do you mean? Taurus closed his eyes. Zion, a male I met. He's half-star and half-pulsar. I realized it after I met you. Ares blinked. That's right. Zion does carry the same aura and scent. Before they could dive into that conversation, Aspen looked up at Hes. What do you mean by Lyram at Yord? Those words brought another clash of silence. Even I had overlooked that. Hes looked confused. She summoned the fire a week ago. Right. Since she's a pulsar, her shifting has nothing to do with her maturing. Since she was able to call the flame, she is matured. She can actually shift even now if she wants to. I gasped and called that burning flame to my skin. Just as I had done last week, the fire danced on my skin, without harming me. All this time I had thought that this cosmic flame belonged to Ares. Never did I imagine them to belong to me. Well, Hayes muttered. Murmurs rose among the crowd. It was then I realized that all these people had never left. A few had left to prepare for war, but some who had not left by the time these 3 stars came. They never left at all. They had seen everything that had happened here. Wow, indeed, K-May said. It is not every day that your pulsar friend is matured and you learn that the guy who looked harmless is actually powerful than everybody here. I did learn many new things today.